All right. Hello, everyone. We are going to start with the introductory lecture of Performance Management ACCA, right? My name is Zaira Anis, and I'm tutor of ACCA PM. I've been teaching since 2000 and PM since 2007. So let's quickly start with performance management and let's see what we can do here. See, if someone asks you that what is performance management and performance management or formerly known as F5 and how it is different from the previous, not previous, from F2 paper or the FMA paper, which students did in their previous sessions, I mean F1, F2 and F3, so how it is different from F2. So if you see the ACCA overall structure, ACCA has actually kept costing and management accounting in at three different levels. The first one is F2, which you guys already did. The second one is F5 or performance management, right? Now this is known as FMA, right? And the third level is P5 now, which is actually known as advanced performance management, right? So if I have to go through the overall structure of ACCA, if you are studying F2 paper, that means the idea is basically to introduce what is costing, what is management accounting to the students. And at that particular level, it's not a good word to say, but actually ACCA treats you like a clerical person, right? Clerical person, or you can say it's someone who is at the operational level, right? So if someone is at the operational level, then just a second. Uh, okay, so if someone is at operational level and you just want to tell him or her how the businesses conduct costing and what are the basics of cost, then that is basically what the F2 paper is. So the basic idea is to tell the students what are the basics of costing and management accounting. But if you move to F5, F5 typically is a paper where you have been promoted, right? And promoted in the sense that now you are at managerial level. Managerial level in the sense that now you will get some information, right? From the system, some information regarding variances, some information regarding performance of the company. And then you have to critically analyze that situation and you have to reach a conclusion. That is basically what F5 paper is, right? So if you see the managerial level of ACES, if you see the overall structure of company, so there are three levels: operational, tactical, and strategical paper, right? The strategic level. So F5 is actually in the middle management sort of paper where examiner will give you, you will be given some tasks to analyze a performance, not at the strategic level, but at the middle tier level. And then in P5, ACCA treats you like someone who is sitting at the strategic level. So he is not concerned. He doesn't have to perform any calculation. He doesn't have to perform any number crunching thing. What he has to do is to analyze the situation and recommend. Analyze the situation and see how things will go if company adopts certain method, right? So that's basically what the ACCA, how ACCA has structured F2, F5, and P5, right? So basically we are here. We are actually dealing with F5 paper. So we are not sure. I mean, ACCA is not sure that is whether students will study P5 in their future papers. So what is the current structure? I mean, how ACCA is currently dealing with this fact is that ACCA is trying to, if you see the P5 paper, so there are certain concepts which are common in ACCA F5 and P5. What examiner is doing is that it's diluting how this thing is examining in P5 and examiner is asking those things in F5 as well. I will discuss later how this thing is going on, right? So that's basically what the F5 paper is, right? So if someone asks me what is the composition of this paper, whether it's theoretical, whether it's calculation, so my idea is that it's you can say it's 40% calculation, maybe 50%, 60% theory, or you can say 50% calculation, 50% theory. But mostly paper is theory. If I'm saying theoretical paper, I don't mean by the fact that you have to learn anything. It's like analysis. It's like critical thinking part, right? So if it's 60%, still you have to analyze the situation and act accordingly. So it's not that boring theoretical thing. It's like something where application is required, right? So that is basically the overall F5. What is F5, right? And if you ask what about the knowledge and practical, mostly it's practical based. I mean, you don't need to uh, know the definitions sort of thing, right? So I have distributed this whole syllabus in 5 different sections, right? First, we will start with costing methods, right? Activity-based costing has been introduced in FMA paper or F2 paper, but generally theoretical aspect is examined in F2, or maybe slight little bit calculation part is generally examined here, but in F5, its calculation and its theoretical version both will be tested, right? So that's the difference. So I'm not sure if you guys remember absorption costing or not, but absorption costing is something which you should recall when you are in F5 paper, because generally what is common in F5 is to make a comparison between absorption and activity-based costing, while APC is more relevant in certain situations, right? Target costing is still something which we have already discussed in past in F2 paper, but obviously in F2 paper only theoretical part was there. I mean, uh, calculation of cost gap is not included in F2. That's the part of F5. And along with that, there are some other areas like learning curve can be the part of target costing, or maybe some other issues. So target costing can be examined in a good way. So that's basically here. Same goes with the life cycle costing. The introduction has been already made in F2 paper, but now uh, introduction has been made in the paper, but now um, uh, calculation is also required in ACCA. I mean F5 paper. Throughput costing, this is a new area for ACCA students because in F2, throughput costing is not the part of F2. Environmental management accounting will be a new area for you, and this has not been the part of the F2 syllabus, right? The next section, the chance. This for me. I personally believe that this is an easy section of ACCA where you can easily score good marks. Um, I believe that the students are generally comfortable with this section. The second section is standard costing and variances. Now, this is also something which is this generally examiner examine in section C, right? And it's not difficult, but the only problem is that it's generally 50% calculation and 50% theoretical. And again, theory is something which is based on the analysis part, right? So it is, and one more important point, students generally ask, what if I don't remember ACCA F2 variances? Um, you should have a basic idea of what are the F2 variances of ACCA FMA variances, right? But if you don't have any idea, if you got some exemption and you are here in F5, then I can provide you basic lectures of variances so that you can cope with it. So the first different area is mix and yield variance. This is when the company is using multiple raw materials. Then sales mix variances are definitely completely new. I mean, this is something which we have not studied in F2. Sales mix and quantity variance, this is something which is completely new with the company selling more product, different type of products, planning and operation variances, and activity-based variances. If you see the past paper trend, generally part A asks the students to calculate something, and part B asks the students to analyze the situation. So this is something which is generally the part of how ACCA examine these variances, right? Then decision making, I believe, mostly number crunching. It's not theoretical. So I believe 15%, I mean, 75% can be uh, calculation based and 25% can be theory here. It's quite interesting because it's more number crunching, so students are quite interested here. So relevant costing is, I mean, more or less everything is new for students. So we will start with relevant costing, then limiting factor is also part of decision making in your program. Pricing. This which can all right. So I think for me, decision making is something where the topics are quite. I mean, there are multiple topics which you have to cover in decision making, but to me, it's the easy part. It is something which is, I believe, which is getting crucial day by day. Um, if someone asks me which is the hard part of F5, which is the difficult part of F5, so my idea is performance measurement because see, there are two things. The first thing is that performance measurement can be, you may find performance measurement very easy because there is no set rules and regulations, right? The company, there can be any company, there can be any sort of issue, the company can face multiple issues. So question can be made in any direction, with a lot of dimensions. And this is interestingly easy if you have, if your critical skills, critical thinking skills are good. But this, at the same time, this will be quite problematic if your critical thinking skills are not good, right? So you must understand how to write the answer of performance management. And this is something, sorry, where examiner is actually borrowing the way he is examining in P5 or advanced performance management. So he's bringing performance management way of asking questions from P5 to F5. Of course, the examiner is diluting the idea. It's making it easier. It's not that difficult, but the idea is because students, there are chances that students will not study APM paper. So that that specific part can be missing in ACCA students. So that's why examiner is doing this, right? So balance scorecard is something which students are aware of because that's the part of F2. Building block model is new. Performance analysis, responsibility center is something which students know about, but transfer pricing, which is the part of responsibility center, is new. The way examiner asks a question is completely new. Performance measurement in not-for-profit making organization, this is something which examiner was not interested before, but now this part is again gaining the momentum and frequency of asking the question. Performance management in not-for-profit making organization is increasing. Right? In my opinion, this section is extremely important. All what you need to do is just to do the practice, right? If you the more practice you will do, sorry, the your writing skills will improve, and definitely you will excel here, right? Then budgeting and IT. Budgeting is something which we have already in F2 paper, but the way budgets are examined in F5 are completely different. It's more theoretical. It's not calculation. So incremental budgeting, rolling budgeting, zero-based budgeting, activity-based budgeting, problem-set budgeting, and obviously the IT system because IT is used in budgeting. So this is basically something which is the last part of ACCA. And I believe that here you need to read book properly because this is the only area which I believe that students need to, you know, keep the advantages, disadvantages theory in their mind while writing the answer. So probably here you need to memorize a few things. Paper pattern is quite simple. Section A is of 15 MCQs times 2 marks. Section B is of 3 MTQs times 10 marks. And section C is constructive response question. Just 20 marks. And there are two questions from that, right? How I will conduct the session. The students will get pre-recorded lectures, right? That's something which you will have. Apart from that, we will have, oops, sorry, I forgot. I think I changed these. Uh, I mean, I've changed these dates, but I think unfortunately, I think changes will not be saved. So we will have first session on next Friday. First live session on next Friday. Let me try to bring that. Just a second. Where's the calendar? Okay. So we will have first live session. We will have first live session on next Friday, right? Next Friday will be 20th of October. Sorry, September, right? Then we will have next session on 27th of September. In both sections, we will discuss variances because variances is something where students are generally they they just wanted to know how to write the answer. So I will explain that, right? This is included in recorded lectures, but I generally explain all these things. Then after 27th, we will have next class on 4th of October on every Friday. Right. After 4th of October, I just need to change. Yeah, 11th October, and last session will be on 18th of October. Not 18th, we will have last session on 25th of October. This is something which we'll decide later. So in the last three sessions, we will do performance measure. Right. Let's do it 20, not 5th, 18th of October. Let's do it on 18th of October. Right. So in the last three sessions, we will do performance measurement. Or if the students want me to do anything else, we will do that. Right. So that's basically how we are going to do this performance measurement in ACCA, right? There will be 1 day exams, 1 day webinar, and there will be mock paper, and then obviously debriefing sessions, right? So that's basically how I'm going to conduct performance management in December 2024 attempt. Obviously, WhatsApp will be available to all of you. You can definitely contact me whenever you want to contact me, whenever you want to ask anything, right? So that's here. That's all about the introduction of performance measurement. All right. Take care. Bye bye.